Good morning, Washington. Welcome to Dave TV for the 17th of May. Today's camel pants. We got one of our pairs of cutoffs because it's gonna be cool out there. How y'all doing, everybody? Welcome to Dave TV. As I said, for Saturday, the 17th of May, we're doing a kind of a look. That was the week that was. Kind of look back on what was going on this past week in Washington radio. Not a lot of big news going on. WBAL, radio and TV gearing up for the Preakness. Okay, yeah, the big news. I guess the big story of the week was the lobby crash there at WMAR. The Vladimir, whatever his name was, the 27-year-old guy gets a big landscaping truck and drives into the lobby, and I don't know. It was interesting, I think, that to pull out of that as the big story out of that was the fact how the Baltimore TVers seem to cooperate with each other. They were usually rivals, channels 2, 11, 13, and it was interesting to see, especially how channel 13 kind of came to the aid of channel 2 and helped them with their coverage. Because, of course, the people at channel 2 were locked out all day from the studios and all that, and it was kind of a nice thing to see. When you went to channel 2's website, there was a feed from channel 13 on there, which was kind of neat. So congratulations to all the fine folks out there. Luckily, nobody was injured or hurt or anything. Just a crazy, loony experience. The other big thing this past week were the ratings. As we said, nothing earth-shattering. TOP, WAMU, Hot 99.5 at the top of the numbers as usual. HUR, the usual suspects. PGC seems to be finally creeping up into the top 10. Good numbers for Fresh. I think that the what's MZQ is sinking, obviously, because their new morning show out of Nashville isn't doing so hot. RQX, still hasn't turned around after the Jack Diamond debacle of last year and all that, and Burt Weiss and all that. So MAL's kind of eh. I know it was interesting to listen to MAL the other day. They were really playing up the storm hype, with all the got 2 to 4 inches of rain, which was, I guess, newsworthy. There's a couple roads flooded and a couple trees fell down and all that. But it was just, again, for the springtime weather in Washington, that's not that unusual. But it was just so much gosh darn hype, don't you think? And it looks like MAL's kind of jumping into that, screaming and yelling bloody murder about all the damn hype. So anyhow, so interesting thing about TOPs, talking about the newsers in town, they've gotten rid now of Pat Garrett. Pat Garrett is a long time. He used to be the voice. WTOP 103.5. Longtime voice of WTOP. As we reported here on DCRTV exclusively, at least at first, was that Pat is no longer working for them, and he's now over at WJFK. So if you listen to the WJFK stuff, you hear that WTOP voice on WJFK, Sports Talker 106.7. But anyhow, they got a new guy, and I don't remember his name. You want to know it? Go to the website, look it up. Steve something, wasn't it?
The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Oh my God.
Buzz Burbank. News and comment. Wednesday, May 14th, 2014. From the one-man worldwide newsroom just outside the nation's capital, this is free independent news, made possible by your use of the Amazon link at buzzburbank.com. With 2 political parties running the show, somebody has to give up something at some point for anything to get done. And when neither side will budge, neither side gets what it wants.
Well, that was weird because I didn't intend to click on that, but I did. That's Buzz Burbank there. Yeah, check him out. He's got a really cool news and comment kind of thing every couple days there, and you can click on the link at dcrtv.com there, the Realm Network ad. So click on that. That's okay. Hey, I like Buzz, and that little unintentional click there was cool. Scott Fisher is the new voice of WTOP. It does sound a little different, but I think it sounds fresh and cool. What the heck. WNEW, as we've said in the ratings, they're still struggling. They're 30th place, even in their 3rd year. The new CBS news station. I don't know, man. I don't know what they do. They're trying to cover Baltimore more, and it's not. The ratings in Washington are going down even further, and it just seems like a giant mess. I had a good idea. I thought I had a good idea this morning. They should just become. I don't know how they could do this because WTOP still carries the CBS News, right? They still carry that CBS radio news, and they're still contracted to carry that for a couple more years. Um, so But if WNEW could somehow brand themselves CBS Radio News in Washington, just ditch the WNEW logo-ish, just say this is CBS Radio News Washington, and then switch to a news and a news talk format. Continue doing news in the mornings and afternoons during drive time, but make it a little more long form. And then program CBS Newsy type programs during the day. Get away, don't do NPR, that's different. Don't do right-wing talk like you hear on WMAL. Make it like this is the flagship CBS News station. Where, try something new here. Kind of a commercialized version of NPR. Now, I know that Washington Post Radio tried that a couple years ago to dismal failure. But I think if you use the CBS radio kind of, this is CBS Radio News, and maybe put in some more, between say 9 and 3 in the 9 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, put some more long form programs in there. It might kind of work. I don't know, but it can't work it can't be any worse than what they're doing right now, can it? Anyhow, Washington Post today again. The stale section has lots of big pictures in it. And I don't know why they put a big picture like this in. Just to fill space. But anyhow, there's Carl Kasell. The Washington Post pretty much ignores everybody in local radio, except, of course, if you're Carl Kasell. You get all written up. The Washington Post is a very parochial newspaper. I think it's become even more parochial since Bezos or whoever the hell he is took it over. But anyhow, they like certain people, and then they cover the hell out of them. And then if they don't like you, you don't get any coverage at all. So if you're people like Kane or Elliott or Don Geronimo or Michael Mary, you don't get any coverage in the Post at all because, you're kind of trailer trash. But if you're a Carl Kasell, Blue Blonde, you get lots of coverage. We like Carl. He fits our kind of upscale mentality. Anyhow, I remember listening to Carl when I first moved to the Washington area. I was a little kid. I don't know. I liked to listen to all news radio. And remember the old WAVA 105.1. Those all news, and Carl was one of their top anchors. I remember listening to Carl all the time. Then he moved over to NPR, and for many years was the morning news voice there on National Public Radio. And now he's lately he did Wait Don't Tell Me, which is done out of Chicago, which is you hear that on WAMU on Saturday mornings, and now he's giving that up and heading on to retirement. So congratulations to Carl, really cool guy. And he deserves this big write-up on the front page, although I think it's a little ridiculous with that giant picture. But I guess that'll look good on his wall there, framed or whatever. I don't know. The Washington Post, it's still a mysterious paper. I don't get it. If you don't get it, you get it, right? That should be their new logo. A whole broadsheet page yesterday on Jill Abramson getting canned and all the analysis at the New York Times. The New York Times. It's the New York Times. Do people in Washington, other than a few kind of media dingbats, really give a rat's ass that much? Whether they should 2 front-page linking stories and an entire broadsheet page of analysis as to why Jill Abramson is no longer at the New York Times? I don't know. It seemed a little excessive to me. But then again, the Washington Post, if it matters to us, then you should care about it too, I guess is their logo. Anyhow, you like Veep. I do like Veep. It's the only thing I get. It's funny. I don't subscribe to HBO, but if I go on Comcast Xfinity.tv site and I click on the HBO link, it lets me watch all the episodes of Veep. So I like it a lot. I like Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I thought she was great in Seinfeld all these years, and she's wonderful in Veep. And I don't know. The second season started out a little slowly, but it's okay. It's funny. It's just kind of quirky. So she's the airheaded vice president. Is this the third season? Where do we have the third season now? Anyhow, airheaded vice president who's running for president now, and all of the crazy idiots around her. It's very good. It's quite good. Filmed in the Baltimore area, Columbia, Maryland. But anyhow, if you like Veep, check this out. In the Loop. It's a movie from a couple years ago, but it's by the guy What's his name? Iannucci, Armando Iannucci, Armando. Why don't I even have his name on here? I don't see his name even on here. Armando Iannucci, I think is his name. He's the guy he did a lot of work with Steve Coogan, did the Alan Partridge thing. He's also, one of the main producer of the Veep thing. He's a British dude, but he does some really cool stuff. And he did this movie a couple years ago, In the Loop. It's got some great people in it. It's got, James Gandolfini, and it's got Steve Coogan in it, and it's a whole bunch of things. If you watch Veep, it has a lot. It's kind of the same kind of a thing. It's kind of, London and Washington insider crap, and it's very, very funny. Very kind of very funny. Anyhow, how about that? Anyhow, if you haven't seen this, if you're like Veep, go click this. It's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure you can watch this on Netflix. But In the Loop there with I think isn't that chick? Isn't she in Veep? I think she is, isn't she? Whatever her name is. Who else is in this? Anna Klumsky, Steve Coogan, whatever. Anyhow, check it out. All right, folks, thanks for watching Dave TV. Again, $29 gets you 2 years of DCR TV Plus up through the end of the month for our fine DCR TV Dave TV folks. So if you're watching me, send a couple bucks. Help me. Help me. Or what was it? The Fly. Remember that old movie, The Fly, with Vincent Price and David Hedison, and the man shrinks to become he merges himself with a fly, and then it's a little fly with his head on it, and Vincent Price here, help me, help. No, it's a crazy movie. I don't know. All right, folks, thanks for watching Dave TV, and what do we say at the end of our show? Book 'em, Dano.